Shalom and welcome to today's edition of Rabbi Ron in the House. Here we are at USF again in Tampa, and here today is with me is Joe. We're looking here at Romans 7 in our Tree of Life Bible study, and Paul once again being honest about the struggles and challenges that he has in life and all of us have in life. And so Paul's the same. And so Joe, you've been checking it out, you've been reading the scripture, and what got your attention? What is God speaking to you today?
That though Paul has written so many of the books that we read and that we all hold dear to us in our faith, that he was also a man, that he had doubts about maybe he had doubts about his religious convictions, maybe he had doubts about what he was doing, but that he used his faith in God and his faith in Yeshua to work through those doubts and to overcome the adversity that he had more or less imposed upon himself. That while he was not 100% sure all the time, that he always came back to his faith. That while sometimes we may fall into sin because we are of flesh and it's easy for us as human beings to fall into sin, that we must also persevere through that and more or less pick ourselves back up when we have fallen. And for me, when he made himself more of a man by admitting that he had doubts, that he had convictions that he wasn't 100% sure of, it kind of makes him easier to believe in, because it shows that he is also a human being.
That's right.
But he uses his faith in Yeshua to overcome the things that are bringing him down.
All right, good. It's really interesting. We sit there and people, and it's okay. Some people will sit there and take the apostles, the early leaders, and St. Paul, St. Peter, and they exalt them and lift them up on this pedestal here. These are these great saints, and it's like they're different than us. We're these little people and they're these saints. But no, what I was hearing as Joe was speaking is that Paul said, I'm just like you. I'm not exalted in any better. I'm no more victorious than you. Paul said, what a wretched man I am. And so Paul acknowledged that he's in the same boat as every one of us. So I want to encourage you. They are great role models. Paul, Peter, the disciples, the early apostles, and we can learn from them. But at the same time, this is what gives us hope. They did these incredible things for God and for his kingdom. But at the same time, Paul was a man just like we are. And therefore, if Paul had struggles and doubts and difficulties, but he was able to overcome them and be used by God to do wonderful things, so can you, Joe, so can I, so can all of you out there. And so let this encourage you that God is able to use you, and he will be with you and help you in these times. And so thanks, Joel, for being with me today. Glad to have you. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, this has been Rabbi Ron in the House.